I have come across various sources who suggest, for example, that one should be able to perform a certain number of push-ups before bench pressing, or so many goblet squats at a certain weight before ever getting under a barbell. Regarding squats in particular, I seem to recall you saying that the order you teach is goblet, front, overhead, back. That's exactly it. Goblet squat first. Goblet, check that, I'm sorry. We go goblet squat first, overhead second, front squat third, and then back squat. Do you look for your students to achieve a certain percentage of body weight in each lift before moving on to the next? Not really. It is movement mastery. And the reason is, now we have to be careful. You said students there. So you just sent me down into an age group about 11 to about 19. So with an 11 to 19-year-old age range, we're gonna be able to not worry about load so much, because with puberty, which is wonderful, and a few other things, they're going to rise right up. They're going to be just fine. So for me, I look for mastery of the goblet squat. The thing about the overhead squat is they do have to be able to lock out a 45 or 20 kilo bar overhead to get to even do the exercise beyond a broomstick or something. So there is the ability to hold on and lock out a 20, or in some cases, if you have 15 kilo bars. So yeah, so for me, it's movement mastery. Now, my good friend Paul Lysingo, he does go by load, and I like what he did too. If you go to my website, danjohn.net, and type in "sleepless in Seattle," you'll get his numbers in there. Yeah, I do think there's value with adults to say, okay, you need to have a nice, as for a man, you need to be able to first show me you can do a 24 kilo goblet squat for one. And then, say we're going to progress up when you can do a 24 kilo kettlebell goblet squat for 10. Then you're going to move to doubles for 24s, with 24s for 10. And then we'll move into the overhead squat or something. For adults, that makes more sense, because you're a little bit more concerned with adults about injury risk, not necessarily getting injured doing the movement, but the past history of injuries. In the last week or so, I started increasing my throwing. And of course, the moment I start throwing again, my spine gets put on a lot of stress. So when I'm doing my rack deadlifts the other day, I got that twinge in my lower back that says, hey, what are you doing? And it reminded me, so an injury risk for me is throwing the discus, here's my spine, and then trying to do a hinge with it the next day. So I have to be a little bit wiser because of my history of injuries, which maybe sounds weird. Yes, people get hurt in the weight room, but very often it's been a snowball that's been coming down the mountain for a while.